Welcome back, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Today we're diving deep into the exciting world of coins small in size, but potentially huge in value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, you'll want to stick around as we reveal the top 4 Washington quarter-dollar United States of America coins. The first up, the 1965 United States quarter dollar, may look like just an ordinary piece of change at first glance. But behind its modest appearance lies one of the most fascinating stories in American coinage history. And certain rare examples of this coin have sold for staggering amounts at auctions, making them some of the most sought-after quarters ever struck. To understand why the 1965 quarter is so valuable in its rare forms, you need to know the context of what was happening in America during the mid-1960s. Up until 1964, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper, but because of rising silver prices and widespread hoarding of coins by the public, the U.S. Mint made the historic decision to switch to a clad composition beginning in 1965, which consisted of copper sandwiched between 2 outer layers of copper nickel. The transition year of 1965, therefore, marked the beginning of a completely new era in coinage. And while billions of 1965 quarters were struck in the new clad metal, the period also saw a number of errors and unusual strikes that became numismatic treasures. What makes the 1965 quarter so intriguing is that some were accidentally struck on leftover 90% silver planchets for 1964, and these wrong metal error coins are what collectors dream of finding today. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks just like a normal quarter, yet instead of being worth 25 cents, it could be worth thousands of dollars because it contains silver and is an extremely rare mistake that slipped through the mint's quality control. The most famous examples of the 1965 silver quarters are those that have been authenticated by grading companies like PCGS and NGC, and these coins have commanded huge sums at auctions. One such silver 1965 quarter sold for over $7,000. While others in superb gem condition have reached even higher prices. The rarity comes from the fact that only a small handful are known to exist, and most likely they were struck at the tail end of 1964, when leftover silver blanks were accidentally fed into the presses that were supposed to be producing the new clad coins. For a collector, the thrill is in the hunt, because unless you test the coin for silver or weigh it on a scale, a silver 1965 quarter looks nearly identical to its copper-nickel counterpart. While a regular clad 1965 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, a silver quarter weighs slightly more, around 6.25 grams. So one of the easiest ways to spot the difference is by checking the weight and edge coloration. Regular clad quarters will show a brownish copper stripe along the edge, while a silver quarter will display a solid silver edge with no copper visible. This simple check has led to some lucky discoveries, as unsuspecting people have found silver 1965 quarters in circulation or old coin jars without realizing they were holding something worth thousands of dollars. But the silver planchet errors are not the only valuable variations of the 1965 quarter. Collectors also prize coins in extraordinary mint state condition, especially those graded at MS 67 or higher. Because the mint was producing billions of coins and striking them in such large numbers, most quarters from that year show heavy wear, bag marks, and weak strikes. Finding one that survived in pristine, untouched condition with sharp details, blazing luster, and virtually no flaws is a challenge. These top-graded clad 1965 quarters have sold for impressive sums, sometimes reaching into the thousands of dollars simply because of their rarity in such exceptional preservation. And then there are transitional error coins, such as the 1965 quarter struck on dime planchets, nickel planchets, or even foreign coin blanks that may have been in the mint at the time. These fascinating wrong planchet strikes make every 1965 quarter worth checking carefully, as oddities can be worth big money. Collectors and dealers are always on the lookout for these rare 1965 quarters, and stories circulate of people discovering them in pocket change or family collections. One of the most incredible facts is that these coins can still be found today, nearly 60 years after they were first minted. The excitement comes from the possibility that anyone, at any time, could stumble upon one of these elusive treasures. Imagine the rush of realizing the 25-cent coin in your hand is actually a silver transitional error worth thousands of dollars. It's like winning the lottery in the world of coin collecting. Auction houses have highlighted these coins, and whenever one surfaces, it creates a buzz in the numismatic community, driving collectors into bidding wars to secure one for their collection. So the next time you come across a 1965 quarter, don't just dismiss it as common pocket change. It may look ordinary, but hidden among the billions of clad examples are those few rare silver planchet strikes and high-grade specimens that could make you rich overnight. Weigh the coin, check the edges, and if something seems unusual, it might just be one of the rarest and most expensive quarters ever minted. The 1965 quarter tells a story of transition, error, and hidden value, proving that sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone with spare change in your pocket, the lesson in the 1965 quarter is simple: always check your coins, because the next fortune-making discovery might just be sitting in your hand. The next up, the 1967 United States quarter dollar, is a coin that carries a fascinating story, not only because of its place in American history, but also due to its value in today's collector market. To understand why certain examples of this coin have become so incredibly valuable, you first need to understand the context of when it was struck. The year 1967 was an important one for the U.S. Mint, coming right after the Coinage Act of 1965, which had eliminated silver from quarters and dimes due to the rising cost of silver metal. By 1967, the Mint was producing quarters in what we know as the clad composition, a copper core sandwiched between two layers of nickel. Because of this transition, collectors were desperate to hold on to coins from the mid-1960s, thinking many might one day be valuable, especially if unusual varieties or errors slipped into circulation. The Mint, however, was under heavy pressure to produce enough coins for circulation, and they even removed mint marks from coins struck in 1965, 1966, and 1967 to discourage hoarding. This decision has a direct impact on why the 1967 quarter has become such a sought-after piece today. Now, while most 1967 quarters you see in circulation are only worth their face value of 25 cents, certain rare varieties and error coins can be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars, with the most pristine or unique examples reaching record-breaking prices at auction. One reason for this is the absence of proof sets during 1967, since the Mint didn't issue standard proof coins that year. Instead, they produced what were known as special mint sets, or SMS coins. These were made with a higher quality strike than regular circulation coins, but weren't quite the same as traditional proofs. Some of these SMS 1967 quarters were struck with exceptionally strong detail, mirrored surfaces, and frosty devices, creating what collectors call cameo, or even deep cameo finishes. These coins are highly coveted, and the finest examples graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC can sell for thousands of dollars. In fact, one deep cameo SMS quarter from 1967 has sold for well over $4,000, showing how dramatically condition and strike quality can affect the value of a coin. But the story doesn't end with just SMS coins. The world of error coins is where things get even more exciting for collectors and investors. The 1967 quarter saw its fair share of dramatic minting errors, and these coins can transform an ordinary piece into a true treasure. For instance, off-center strikes where part of the design is missing, double strikes where the coin was struck twice with overlapping images, and transitional errors where the wrong planchet was used are all possible with this year. Some 1967 quarters have been found struck on nickel or penny planchets, creating wildly unusual coins that stand out immediately to collectors. These kinds of minting mistakes can command anywhere from several $100s to several thousand, depending on the severity and rarity of the error. Imagine holding a 1967 quarter that was mistakenly struck on a silver planchet left over from before the Coinage Act. Such an error would be nearly priceless today because silver wasn't supposed to be used anymore. While exceedingly rare, transitional errors of this sort have been discovered, and they continue to drive the excitement around this coin. The 1967 quarter is also significant because of its role in a changing era of American coinage. Collectors value it not just for its rarity in certain forms, but also for its historical importance. This was a time when the nation was adjusting to coin shortages, rising metal prices, and a mint under immense public pressure. All of these factors created an atmosphere where unusual and unique coins slipped through the cracks. And today, those are the coins that have become the most expensive and desirable. At auctions, top-graded 1967 quarters, whether SMS coins with flawless deep cameo surfaces or dramatic minting errors, can bring astonishing prices. While an average circulated coin from this year might only be worth a quarter, the right specimen could change hands for thousands of dollars, making it a thrilling chase for collectors who dream of finding one in their own pocket change or in an old coin jar. So when we talk about the most expensive 1967 United States quarter, we are not simply referring to one single coin, but rather to a category of treasures that exist because of history, circumstance, and luck. Whether it's a perfectly preserved SMS coin with mirror-like brilliance, a deep cameo rarity that takes your breath away, or an extraordinary minting error that defies expectation, the 1967 quarter has proven time and again that it holds a special place in the world of numismatics. Collectors hunt for them relentlessly. Grading companies carefully certify them, and auction houses spotlight them because they bring excitement and value far beyond their face worth. If you ever come across a 1967 quarter, don't dismiss it as just another piece of pocket change. It could be one of those rare examples that carries the power to be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. The thrill of discovery is what makes this coin so legendary, and the possibility that any ordinary-looking 1967 quarter could be an extraordinary rarity is why it remains one of the most fascinating coins in American history. The next up, the U.S. Mint. One particular year that always captures the attention of coin hunters is 1979, a year that produced millions of quarters, yet a handful of them stand out as rare treasures worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars today. In this video, we are going to explore in great detail the story of the 1979 quarter dollar from the United States of America, uncovering why some of these coins, though they may look ordinary to the untrained eye, can actually be sold at auction for staggering amounts of money. Sit back as we journey into the world of numismatics and unlock the secrets of the most expensive 1979 quarter you could possibly own. The 1979 Washington quarter was minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. In circulation, these coins were made of a copper-nickel-clad composition with no silver content, unlike the earlier quarters from before 1965. While most of the 1979 quarters are still only worth face value if you find them in your pocket change, there are specific conditions and rare varieties that turn a common coin into a fortune-changing discovery. Collectors pay special attention to mint marks, die errors, and the overall condition of the coin, especially those graded at the highest mint state levels. One of the main reasons a 1979 quarter can fetch a high price is the presence of unique minting errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, clip planchets, and even dramatic misalignments that create coins unlike any others in circulation. These errors, while accidents, transform an ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind collectible that sparks bidding wars among serious numismatists. High-grade examples of the 1979 quarter are also extremely desirable. Imagine finding a quarter from that year that has survived more than 4 decades without scratches, wear, or contact marks. When these coins are certified by grading companies such as PCGS or NGC at grades like MS67 or MS68, their value skyrockets. In fact, record-breaking sales have shown that pristine examples of the 1979 Washington quarter can sell for well over $1,000. And certain error coins have reached even higher amounts. For instance, a perfectly preserved 1979 D quarter graded at the top levels once sold at auction for a price that shocked even seasoned collectors. The beauty of such coins lies in their luster, sharp strike, and flawless surfaces, something that is nearly impossible to find among quarters that have been circulated heavily in everyday use. Another fascinating aspect of the 1979 quarter is the proof version struck at the San Francisco Mint. Proof coins were specially made for collectors, with mirror-like fields and frosted designs that make them truly eye-catching. Among these, there are cameo and deep cameo varieties that can command impressive prices, particularly in perfect PR70 condition. Collectors and investors alike treasure these proof quarters because they not only represent superior craftsmanship, but also carry the prestige of being limited production coins. A deep cameo 1979 quarter in flawless condition is one of those coins that can easily cross into the thousands of dollars when it appears in auction catalogs. The rarity of high-grade proofs, combined with collector demand, ensures that these coins remain highly sought after. Beyond condition and mint marks, what makes 1979 quarters so intriguing is their connection to American history. This was a period of economic shifts, changing times, and coinage technology evolving rapidly. The U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins to meet demand, and yet within this flood of coinage, rare gems were born by mistake or by design. For collectors, this creates a thrilling treasure hunt, knowing that inside rolls of quarters, or even tucked away in old jars of change, there could be a coin worth a small fortune. The idea that a 25-cent piece could be worth more than $1,000 adds to the excitement, motivating countless people to search their coins carefully. Auction houses have documented multiple sales of 1979 quarters that prove their investment potential. For example, certain mint-state examples and rare error coins have been listed and sold for anywhere between $500 and $2,500, depending on rarity, grade, and demand. One dramatic double-die error quarter from 1979 created quite a buzz when it crossed the auction block, attracting aggressive bidding from collectors determined to add it to their collection. Every time one of these rare coins sells, it pushes more collectors to check their own 1,979 quarters in hopes of uncovering the next big treasure. So why are these coins so valuable? It all comes down to supply and demand. While the mint struck millions of quarters in 1979, the number of coins that survived in exceptional condition is extremely limited. Combine that with the unpredictable nature of minting errors, and you have coins that are truly scarce. Serious collectors want to own the finest examples available, and they're willing to pay top dollar for them. The difference between a coin worth 25 cents and one worth $2,000 can sometimes be just a small error, a sharp strike, or the grade assigned by a professional certification service. This is why coin grading and careful examination are so important in the hobby. If you're wondering whether you might have one of these valuable 1979 quarters in your possession, there are a few things you should look for. First, check the mint mark under Washington's portrait. Quarters from Denver and Philadelphia are the most commonly found, while proof quarters from San Francisco have a distinctive S. Then, carefully inspect the details of the coin under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. Look for unusual markings, doubled features, or signs of minting errors. If your coin looks especially sharp and shows no wear, it may be worth submitting for professional grading. Even a small discovery could mean a huge difference in value over the years. The stories of ordinary people finding rare and valuable coins in pocket change or inherited collections have captured the imagination of the public. A coin like the 1979 quarter serves as a reminder that history and fortune can sometimes hide in the simplest of places. What makes these coins especially fascinating is that they are still out there, unlike some ancient rarities that are locked away in museums or elite collections. That means anyone, anywhere, could come across a valuable 1979 quarter at any time. This accessibility keeps collectors excited and ensures that the market for these coins remains strong. As we wrap up this exploration of the 1979 United States quarter dollar, remember that coin collecting is not just about the money. It is also about the thrill of discovery, the appreciation of history, and the beauty of small works of art that have circulated through the hands of millions. Yet, for those lucky enough to find one of the rarest and most expensive examples, it can indeed be life-changing. Imagine holding a coin that the world sees as just 25 cents, but in the right market, it is worth thousands of dollars. That possibility makes the 1979 quarter one of the most exciting coins to search for today, so the next time you're handed change at the store, or yo. The next up, the 1995 United States quarter dollar might look like an ordinary piece of change that people often overlook or spend without a second thought. But hidden among the millions of coins minted that year are a few extremely rare and valuable treasures that can command thousands of dollars in today's collector market. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket or in an old jar at home that could change your financial life overnight. A coin that seems so common, yet holds a story of rarity, history, and collector's demand that makes it worth a fortune. The 1995 Washington quarter was minted at 3 major locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced hundreds of millions of circulation strikes meant for everyday use, while San Francisco struck proof coins with mirror-like finishes specially designed for collectors. Most of these coins remain common, circulating in pockets, cash registers, and coin rolls, but certain varieties, condition rarities, and mint errors are what turn a basic 25-cent piece into a highly sought-after numismatic prize. Collectors prize flawless examples graded MS-67 or higher by grading companies like PCGS and NGC, and these coins can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their strike quality and condition. What makes them so valuable is not just their age, but the fact that pristine, untouched examples are incredibly hard to find due to the heavy circulation these coins experienced. While most 1995 quarters are worth just face value, the true excitement lies in those rare high-grade pieces that stand out from the rest. For instance, an ordinary worn 1995 quarter is common, but one preserved in gem mint state with razor-sharp details, brilliant luster, and virtually no flaws could be auctioned for hundreds. If you are lucky enough to own a proof coin struck in San Francisco with the specialist mint mark, and it has cameo or deep cameo contrast with no imperfections, its value rises even more. Proofs were never meant for circulation, so finding one in perfect shape is key. Even more exciting are the mint error coins from 1995. Collectors go wild for off-center strikes, double dies, and coins struck on wrong planchets. These errors make the coin unique, literally one of a kind, and uniqueness in numismatics always translates to higher demand and higher price. A double die obverse or reverse, where the design shows signs of doubling, could push a 1995 quarter's value into the thousands, depending on the clarity and placement of the doubling. Off-metal strikes, where a quarter was mistakenly struck on a dime or nickel planchet, can be worth a small fortune because of their rarity and eye-catching appeal. Now, think about the journey of the 1995 quarter itself. This was a time before state quarters took over in 1999, so the Washington quarter design was still standard and familiar to every American. With George Washington's portrait on the obverse and the heraldic eagle on the reverse, the design was a symbol of tradition, but that also makes rare variations stand out even more because they break the pattern collectors expect. Every time a collector sees a 1995 quarter in high mint state, they recognize how unusual it is to find such a piece untouched by circulation, and that makes it a true treasure. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have sold top-graded 1995 quarters for astonishing prices because serious collectors are willing to pay premium amounts for perfection and rarity. Imagine a coin you could easily mistake as pocket change being hammered down for hundreds or even thousands of dollars just because it survived in perfect shape. That's the power of numismatics, the blend of history, scarcity, and collector passion. When you hold a 1995 quarter, you're holding a piece of American history that might be far more valuable than you think. That's why it's always important to check your coins carefully, especially those from the 1990s that people often dismiss as modern and common. In reality, the most expensive 1995 quarter dollar coins are proof of how every coin tells a story and how the smallest details, like a mint mark, strike quality, or tiny minting error, can transform a 25-cent piece into a valuable collector's gem. If you ever come across a shiny, sharp-detailed 1995 quarter with an S mint mark, a flawless finish, or any strange doubling or off-center strike, Don't spend it. Protect it, grade it, and you might just discover you're holding one of the most expensive quarters from 1995, a coin worth hundreds or thousands that could surprise even seasoned collectors. So the next time you come across a quarter from 1995, remember that while most are worth just face value, some could be a golden opportunity in disguise. Always check your change, treasure your finds, and who knows, you may have the most expensive 1995 United States quarter dollar sitting right in your pocket.